Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Good, good. How about you?
Doing good, doing good. Um, is there a character you want in specific, or just Noctis?
Nothing specific. You just play Noctis, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 7. Noctis Lucis Kylum. Get ready for the next battle. Round 1. Fight. KO. Round 2. Fight. KO. Round 3. Fight. KO. Round 4. Fight. KO.
I'm gonna reel in a monster. Let's fish.
Get ready for the next battle.
Damn it!
Round 1. Fight.
Oh.
KO. Round 2. Fight.
Oh shit.
KO. Round 3. Fight. KO. Round 4. Fight. KO. Final round. Fight.
Shit. Oh shit.
That move hits from weird angles sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I jab too, so put me out there.
Get ready for the next battle. Round 1. Fight. KO. Round 2. Fight. 4. Fight. KO. You win.
Piece of cake.
Get ready for the next battle. Round 1. Fight. KO. Round 2. Fight. KO. Round 3. Fight. KO. Round 4. Fight. KO. Final round. Fight. KO. You win.
Oh, that was me, right?
Piece of cake.
Oh yeah, it was. I was super in thought. GG's.
Oh, okay, okay. GG's, man.
Yeah. So, I took some notes here, but
Okay.
before I show you, why don't you talk to me about what the set felt like? Like, what were you thinking about, and how were you kind of going through it on your end?
Mm, I think I was too caught up on like trying to get your timing that I forgot about other things you were doing.
Yeah.
I think I was too focused on landing the counter hits like 4-3, 3+4.
That checks
That I
out. That checks out. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, and then I think I did um too much like 3+4. Like I used it where like I could have kept going, but like the times I used it, it like killed my offense.
Hmm.
And I think you called out that I would like do something or move afterwards. Like you use it down for 2 after 3+4,
Oh,
right?
those are all misinputs. All right.
Those are
Like I
misinputs.
thought it whiffed, so I just did it, and then like
Oh, okay.
I did it like during the so yeah, that was not a pattern rate.
Oh,
So I have so I didn't get that same emotional response in like that you would 3+4 and your offense would end. To me, it just felt
mhm.
like, all right, I blocked a 3+4. Now I got to play again. You know, like it didn't feel like I didn't feel like I got a breath of air so much.
Oh, okay.
Um, I actually thought your 3+4 placement was really good because what I noticed was that like you'll usually do like dash button or like dash mix up threat with like hatchet or something, and
Mhm.
then your 3+4 placement substitutes the dash. So it's like it's the perfect time for me. Like if I wanted to counter hit you out of your dash, I would hit up forward 1, but your 3+4 would already hit me. So that was pretty cool.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
that was that. Yeah, it was actually really really good placement. I thought that your like using your frames off of back 1 and forward 3. Yeah, Noctis has a crazy backdash, so it's kind of biased. But like I didn't feel like those frame advantage situations for you gave me any problems right away, right? It was like, yes, you were frame advantage, but it may as well have been a minus pushback move because of how much freedom I felt to just leave, you know?
Mhm.
Versus like if you use those frames to like put off an immediate hatchet, which gives me something to think about, gets me ducking, then, you know, there's other mind games that open up. But
Right, right.
yeah, let me write that. Like those frame situations didn't represent any threat. So I didn't feel pressured to do anything. Yes, Noctis backdash good, but immediate timing hatchet are to be shown. Especially when I wasn't really ducking any of your lows or anything. I got like one low parry on a hatchet, but aside from that, I thought that move should be scaring me more. Another small thing is that your down forward 1-1s were all just 2 hits. I just spammed the punish after that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just a small thing. That's not like game deciding, but it again, it gave me less to think about. That was probably like the theme of the set. I would say is like I didn't feel like I had to solve a lot of problems or figure out a lot of things. It was like okay, um, because hatchet kick normally will like put me on a timer, right? It's like I get so many interactions and guesses before the hatchet kicks will kill me. So that's my approach, anyways. So without that threat, I was able to kind of really chill for like a really long time and kind of like look for the sidewalk right or like get that lucky sidewalk left on the back 1, you know? Um, that was kind of the best thing. And then the game you won, you started pulling out a lot more lows. That's kind of like a FDX specific strat, but also in general, if you see your opponent not like being induced to act even with your poke lows, like they're not even starting to attack, they're just really just continuing to chill or do nothing. Good idea to like put out a bit more lows and see how they respond. Especially early in the set and like a first to 3, you have a lot of time to like see how they respond to lows and things like that.
Okay.
On my another thing is I wasn't afraid to do Milos, which is usually a big deterrent for Noctis. Noctis has all the power mids in the world, right? So usually you can just stand block. When you do block a
Mhm.
low, getting like the full crouch down forward 2-1, I think the input is to on like my down back 3 is really important. Um, same with like down 2, you got like a good duck and you were like reading the extension, but I think it's more important to like try and get the punish and make me afraid of doing a single down 2. Because my lows don't keep up with your lows in terms of like damage and advantage, you know?
That's true.
So, what else do we got? Yeah, let me check the replay again. There was like a few missed punishes on -14, but I saw you try it and then like reverted. Yeah, definitely keep trying it. Like it's definitely good to do.
Yeah, like the what 2-2, 4-2, or down 2.
Yeah, 2-2-4-2 while standing 2-2.
Get ready
Getting
for
the
next
launch on
battle
those
round.
makes me behave differently. Also, I would do 2-2 and then like sidewalk right, right? Like my 2-2, I was too comfortable at -9. You were checking a lot of my forward 1+2
Damn it.
like actions
Round
after,
one.
but in terms of like 2-2 itself, I was kind of too comfortable going that -9 and then doing whatever I wanted. Sometimes like a jab check can have risks, like I can do 2-2 back 2 and beat that, but it's good, I think, to vary how you play into certain situations depending on, well, specifically against Noctis. I think that like creating things that I have to think about after I do 2-2 or making me doubt my ability to do those things successfully is pretty good. Bryan has a good enough backdash that he can, oh, I think, sorry, I gotta check. This was what I was talking about. Like, you see how you kind of faked a dash button and then just did 3+4 instead? I thought that was really good. Anyways, let me see, what else was I thinking? And part of it is, yeah, you don't have to always start an offense against Noctis either, right? Because his strongest things are the whiff punish and the up forward 1 and the forward 1+2. All of those are dependent on you pressing. So if you create, oh geez, that was crazy. If you play in a way that makes me expose more of what I'm trying to do, and not necessarily looking for the counter hit right away, but just getting more time to observe how I play, that can help. Like a lot of the back 2s were hitting. I'm not sure if you were fuzzy ducking a low or something, but if you don't give me the damage on back 2s or my counter hits, that was good. It's pretty hard for Noctis to stack a lot of damage reliably. Like if I have to kill you with like 15 lows or something, that's not in my favor, you know? So you're giving me the mids and the counter hits is more of why I'm winning than I think a weakness in your offense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I think like offensively, yeah, mainly not giving me problems when you do get plus frames. Like you did a couple down forward 2s, and like the down forward 2-3 was successful, right? But I'm getting so much damage off of these 2-2s and things like that. Is that a sidewalk? I'm trying to look at your inputs and see. Oh, you're on player 1. Wait, is this right? Yeah, because you're tapping down, it's giving you sidestep right. So if you're on player 1, okay, that's weird. I never knew it would do that. Yeah, so to beat 2-2, you have to sidewalk left, but yeah, that would probably help. But also, if you just end up, for example, say like you just didn't have the timing read, sometimes just holding onto your HP and taking the situation on block is going to be way more in your favor than putting yourself in a situation where you need to attack, and having to attack into Noctis is a nightmare. So. Oh, got me. Think I died here? No. I like how you play the taunt wake up. Most Bryans just do the down 4, but you're creating like the down 3+4 or something, like a 2-hit thing. Gives me a bit more to work, like fight against. So I think up forward 3, somebody was telling me that also resets the situation. But yeah, in general, I would say, yeah, you were just giving me so much HP as a lead that it made it easier for me to find like counter hits or whiff punishes and just kind of chill out. Instead of, if we're playing at even life most of the time, you land like hatchets on a timer to force me to try to do something, and then like that helps you generate a counter hit, you know,
Right.
or helps you find it. And then yeah, so I think that's the big ones. I think are built around like my lows weren't scary to do. Like yes, it's a read, like you kind of have to punish guess, but also I didn't have to do many lows because so many of my mids were just kind of hitting. You'll see like kind of this happen. I only am kind of aware of this right now because I was watching my matches against Shadow, and like when he's playing Claudio, he gets so much damage off of 1-2, back 3, and like running 2, trying to catch you moving, that he never really has to put his life on the line doing a low, right? Until like the wall happens and shit like that is ugly. But in the same way, I was getting so much damage on you that the urgency just wasn't there. You know, does it kind of make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. I didn't want to just ramble and have that not be sticking. I can't remember which round you did it, but there was a round where you found a down forward 2-3, and I just like more of that is really not bad. Noctis's punish doesn't knock you down, and if you're just blocking after, he has to run a like far distance to get like a demo man on you, right? So in general, I would say going for the down forward 2-3 as Bryan is not terrible. Like, you know, especially against Noctis. You can make an argument like against Law or something where he's knocking you down. It's a bit ugly, but like Noctis gets +7. You can just chill after reset to neutral and then try again, you know? And every down forward 2-3 that is successful is just like, you know, basically a round. It opens up down forward 2 hatchet kick. But basically, I was kind of, every time you did a down forward 2, except for the one time I pressed, I was kind of like, all right, we're going to be okay. Like, there's nothing to worry about here.
I didn't make it threatening to you at all.
Yeah. That was, yeah, when you started doing that, I'm like, oh shit, is he picking on? Is he catching on that I'm not going to duck? Because then it creates a bit more urgency. And then you can see, like, right after that, like, 2 hatchets, you could see the urgency hit me, right? Because, like, I tried to do forward 1+2 into a button. That's like, I did not have the same amount of confidence in my ability to just chill out and do nothing. And that's just off 2 hatchets, right? so sometimes just doing, like, it doesn't have to be a colossal, like, mindset shift adjustment or anything like that. You could just do something dumb, like, twice in a row. Like, and I wouldn't even call 2 hatchets that dumb. And, like, that's very reasonable. But, like, 2 power lows can make somebody start behaving like an idiot. So, like, if you do that to me, like, you saw immediately I got counter hit right after. Sometimes just, yeah, a bit more, how do I describe it? Yeah, like, the way you described it was pretty, like, I'm glad that you mentioned that you felt like you were looking for counter hits a lot. I think that really pieces together the picture I was building where, like, your offense was kind of like a placeholder, right? It's like you're doing it because you kind of have to, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of, like, killing intent behind trying to figure out different ways to get me to mess up, you know?
Yeah, I think
Final round.
I was looking for counters and like I should have been doing the things to like try to get you to press. Like I had an expectation
Yeah.
in the back of my mind that you were going to.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't. So that led to me like not doing anything to try to get you to like interact more with me.
Yeah.
It was more of me like because like what I was doing was like what I was actually doing after I do stuff like hatches and get like stuff to like make you uncomfortable, get you to press into me, but I like skipped over that.
Yeah. Something that might help because I feel like you have like a decent amount of game time and experience and things like that is like when you get into a game, instead of looking for a specific thing, try and like just enumerate what I'm doing or what the opponent is doing and see what your body and like your training does in response, right? So like, sometimes simply just noticing like, oh, he's not ducking can get you to do something like double hatchet, you know, bait a bit and then get the counter hit, right? Instead of like actively training all your attention on like, I need to find this counter hit, putting your attention on everything the opponent is doing and then seeing how your habits or your like your ideas respond. That might be an effective way to see how you play, because I felt like yeah, like once you stopped looking for the counter hit directly, the counter hits came ironically, right? It's like yeah. So that's probably my immediate idea on what you could do next. Like part of it would be like creating offensive problems, but you might, because like when I play against your Jack from before, I remember it being horrifying, and I think the reason, this is just a raw guess, is probably because Jack is putting you in a mode where you're always trying to see if your opponent is like responding to your movement with a duck or your movement with like a button, right? Like, and you kind of, Jack is designed for you to play around those, right?
Yeah.
So like I think you can do it, right? It's just like, yeah, when you're on Bryan, you're trying really hard to find the counter hit.
Yeah.
Experiment with putting on that Jack mindset where you're like, I'm more concerned with what my opponent's doing. I can find the counter hit when I need to. It's just gonna be like, can I see what they're doing, right?
Yeah. It's like, I don't need that counter hit like right away.
Yeah, no, Bryan is like the archetype of getting bullied until you're enraged and then winning, right? So like, so and then once they're afraid of that happening, then you can kind of drive your foot into their knees, you know? So like, try that out. Try like mindset wise, because yeah, like when I think of playing your Jack, that's like the scariest thing. Like in tournament, anyways, I'm always like, oh, first to 2 is John 3:16. I gotta be like super sharp and all these things. And then yeah, your Bryan feels very like, he's gonna do some moves, I'm gonna do some moves, and then if I don't get counter hit, I'll be okay. Alternatively, when you play against like a super scary Bryan, it'll feel like He's gonna do his moves. I'm gonna do my moves. I need to not get counter hit, but if I sit still too long, I'll just die. Right? Like if you sit still too long, hatchet kick will kill me. And if I try to mash out of hatchet kick, I'm in a disadvantageous position, right? So being willing to lose a couple of your like lose a couple hatchet kicks to low parries, lose a couple down forward 2-3s to getting punished to open up more shit later can be really good, I think.
Yeah, I think I let like that one low parry and then
Yeah.
the one punish on down for 2-3 like discouraged me more than
Yeah,
it
yeah.
should.
Yeah.
That's when like you didn't see it.
Right. Because like the hatchet kick into wall is like that's genuinely a shitty situation. Like that's but again, Bryan thrives in rage, right? Your rage unlocks like a a mid launching the mid launching normal hit. So like it creates you're not losing just because your HP is lower when you're Bryan. Because two interactions can lead to the win. So getting your shit low parried or getting your shit block punished is like data. Like you should you spent your mana to get like to create a position for you to play in, right? Or like
see my health bar as a resource.
Yeah. And I get that advice a lot. It's kind of vague to me. It's kind of like seeing directly how that applies. So like I think a good example in the match earlier was like you hit me 2 hatchet kicks and like that could have cost you a lot, but literally like 5 seconds later I ate like a giant counter hit muck kick, right? Off of my mistake. I went -9 and then tried to hit a button again, right? I think I did like 4-4 1+2 hop kick. So yeah, I think like seeing how successful like situations like that are and kind of being a little aware of like or like trying to expand your awareness to that like, oh, how did I make their behavior change once I did this, even if it's like on paper a little dumb or like not completely in my favor. Sometimes like because it's a fighting game and because like the mid low mix up like gamble 50-50 whatever you want to call it is like kind of a fundamental part of the game. Being open to that risk and being wrong for the sake of understanding your opponent better is kind of huge. So like like you saw the way I play, I barely go low, but once I recognized I didn't have to go low, it just became super comfortable. And then I wasn't looking for counter hits against you. I wasn't really looking for whiff punishes. I just kind of told myself like, okay, these 2-2s are getting damaged. These back 2s are getting damaged. Like we'll figure it out later if that doesn't work, but for now it's working. So sometimes just sticking to what's working can also be really effective.
That's true because like I see what works, but then like I find myself moving to like the next layer when I don't need to.
Yeah. I had a huge problem with that. A dude was telling me once like the down back 3s are working. Why'd you stop that? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. I was just kind of doing my shit. But yeah, like kind of having a concrete game plan that you stick to, seeing where it's failing, and then making micro adjustments, especially in 7, is really, really good. So I think Bronson Tran is like a big fan of that too. Like Speed Kicks will talk about it, but Bronson Tran's also big on that. He's like, I'm just seeing what's hitting you, and if something's not hitting you, I'll just do something else. And like there's kind of an ignorant beauty to that,
Right.
That's like he's like, yeah, I mean if it's killing you, it's good. If it's not killing you, I'll figure something out. No big deal, like I don't care what my character is supposed to do or anything. It's just what hits you. And I think there's like there's a beauty to that. You got any other questions or anything while I have you?
How do you manage mental stack better? Because like that's what I'm trying to.
Mental stack, yeah. So when you say that, what do you mean? A lot of people say mental stack can mean different things. So I want to understand what you mean.
During the course of a match, keeping track of what you want to do, so like things in your game plan, and also seeing how the info you get from your opponent feeds into that game plan. I would say.
Okay. So let me write these down. So how do you manage mental stack? And then you said your game plan be your opponent's responses, right?
Yes. Yep.
Do that game plan. Okay. Was there more?
I think no. That should be it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is good. This is kind of what you want to be doing. Your game plan and your opponent's possible responses to that game plan can be mapped out pretty cleanly even if you do it in an abstract way, right? Like there's like yes, there are like infinitely many choices, but they can be bucketed pretty cleanly. So for example, if I go through my game plan, I'll tell you like Noctis, okay? What is like the least risk, like high reward, hardest to play around strategy for me to do? 2-2, 4-4, 1+2 while running 1+2. Down back 1+2, right? Like these are all my safe giant mids, jabs. Jab and 1-2. Like these are all really hard to play around. And I can get a lot of damage off of that, right? And then like if that's not working, I can do like, well, actually no, this is it. Like this is fine. Like this is my layer 1, right? So how does my opponent beat this? They have to. So this is what I will do by default. And what I will do, or it's like map how they counter that, right? So like how do you beat 2-2? Like sidewalk left. How do you beat sidewalk left or counter dash in counter hit, or forward 1+2 while running 1+2 they beat with like up close offense, right? So I don't have time to like generate that the forward inputs and things like that. Down like 1+2 they beat with sidewalk right. Back 2 is linear. Jab can be like prediction whiff punishes, right? So these are how my opponents counter that, right? So like how does Noctis counter, right? Movement, forward 1+2, up forward 4, up close offense, up forward 1, dash in counter hit, up forward 1, right? So like and then opponent counter is turtle, A-9 advantage, avoid counter hits, and then Noctis goes into like down back 3, right? 2-2. So I technically down back 3 does belong up here, but I really in practice I won't really use it until they're really turtling, right? So this is kind of and like it doesn't obviously go as cleanly as like we're here, now we're here, right? It's kind of very fluid. But these are your options and how, or these are my options and how my opponent might counter them, and then how I might continue moving through that flowchart. If you map that out and kind of understand what you want to do by default and how your opponent beats that, then it no longer is managing this giant overwhelming thing of like, okay, here's my game plan, here's what I need to do. Oh, my opponent's doing this. Okay, what does the game plan say again? It's kind of like, oh, okay, my opponent's doing this, and then your body responds or your subconscious responds, right? That's the part I've kind of been working on actually a lot as of the past like 6 months, I'd say, is I'm trying to have a preset game plan. So like I'll go in against Bryan. I'm like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. First of all, I know what Bryan can do. So I'm going to do my thing and let's see how Bryan responds. So when I was playing against you, I just did a bunch of this, and I was doing a bit of like sidestep with punishment also, but I noticed that was getting me killed more often than not, than instead of just killing you with this and back 2. I never really I did like a couple of forward ones that were really successful, but I felt like my general default was winning more. So like if you didn't ask me for a coaching session, for example, I would not have been as aware after the fact to say things like more lows came out in response to me doing nothing. Well, I did notice that, never mind. But I wouldn't have paid close attention to like how your rage drive was kind of easy to play around, or like your punishment needs to be better, or this necessarily. I would have been really closely paid attention into like just the micro observations and then moved on. So I'd be like, oh, he's not really hitting me low. My lows are really working. I kind of just stayed there mentally. So by preparing the mental or like the interactions in advance, and then like experimentally through tournament and like matches and things like that, you can refine your game plan. You can refine your opponent's responses. So then when you're in game, it just becomes, what's my opponent doing? You know? And then it becomes very clear. It no longer feels like a gigantic stack. It's just more like you can watch your opponent and then just respond, you know?
Right.
Right. That's my approach, and it took a lot of time to figure out kind of how to do that. But yeah, so most of the work when I'm playing in ranked is refining my understanding of these game plans. And then in tournament, I'm trying really hard to just like what are my opponent's responses to everything, like not just my moves, but their moves. How are they moving? And I'm not taking that mental leap into what is my counter. So I don't focus too hard on what is my counter, because to me that's really mentally slow. Most of my chokes in tournament come from focusing too hard on what is my counter, instead of knowing the counter in advance and then just saying, how do I respond? A good example is kind of when I played against Shadow. This is all really relevant because I'm like working on a video and I just happened to be looking at this.
Okay.
Shadow started countering my up forward ones because I was bodying him with that. With down Claudio down 2 and like down back 3, all the like high crushing lows. And when I used to lose to him, it would always be like, oh my god, what do I do against that? Like I'd be in tournament thinking about that and I'd be like struggling. So I sat like I removed myself and thought about it once I was calm and kind of like, okay, well, objectively, what beats like a high crush mid or a high crush low? Do a mid, right? What good mids does Noctis have? Maybe all of them. So I was like, okay, so if he's starting to do this strategy, I just need to hit him. And then the next time we played, I didn't say anything about, oh my god, he's doing the high crush lows, what do I do? I just said he's doing the high crush lows. And then I kind of just let it sit there. And because I had thought about it in advance and I didn't try to, it's ironic, right? Like I didn't try to dig too hard for the answer that I came up with just kind of emerged in my gameplay. And sometimes it will take practice and refinement, but that trust in the subconscious is something I'm working on. And that might be what will help you. I don't know if it'll help for sure, but that might be relevant.
No, I think it'll help because you make me realize that I know my options, but I'm not too aware of like what my opponent could do, and I don't take it into account enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, I focus too hard on like my counters.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I like see something, like I think I take too much time to like think of the counter,
Yeah, yeah.
or but, like certain situations like have happened enough to like okay, I know the counter.
Yeah, which
Off
honestly
the top.
isn't bad to do, especially when you're playing sets. Like you want to do that thinking, you want to do that processing. It's more like
Right.
once you get into a tournament set or something, or like a competitive situation, like a non-training environment, basically, you want to. The most effective way to perform is going to be this. But truthfully, when I'm in ranked, I'm doing a lot of thinking. I'm doing a lot of like, oh, this is cool. How does this work? How does this work? Let me experiment with this, and I'll lose a fuck ton. but yeah, I'm trying really hard to do this in tournament where I'm not focusing on what is the counter. I should know that already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I say that very non-judgmentally. It's kind of like, well, if I did the work, why am I doubting myself? You know, if I didn't do the work, well, then I could do the work. But if I you know what I mean, right? Like, I think it's good to both get yourself to do the work, and then if you've already done it, trust that you did it because you know you put in the work. And if for some reason that's not coming together, then we can keep analyzing it. Kind of my take.
Okay. So I think my future sets I'm gonna focus on like when I play sets of people or go to rank is refining my game plan, but also my like, opponent's response as well, guys. I think too much about what the response could be, or like I'm still trying to figure out what the response could be.
Yeah.
Like as it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. So like you want to be in a comfortable position where if you land a hatchet kick, you more or less understand that your opponent can either mash or nothing or do nothing, right? They can mash, move, or hold back, right? Or they can duck, you know. So with those 3 buckets, you can go in mentally to a new set and be like, what did my opponent choose to do after I landed a hatchet kick? Against VDX, it's mostly he'll do nothing, right? Or he'll hard mash. it creates a situation where you can kind of be like, okay, so this is what's happening. Maybe something right before influenced that. I can look at that, or like what is the HP state? What is like what just happened? And then if you rewind it 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you might unlock more. 5 or 10 is enough, I think. More than that is kind of you might be digging a lot. But looking back 5 seconds, being what just happened that might have influenced this big hit. Best example is that mock kick that counter hit to me. Like it was like, oh, 2 hatchets immediately. Like I mashed into something dumb.
Right.
Yeah, try that out. Let me know how it goes. That sounds like hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Any other questions you have?
Oh, not off the top of my head. No, not really. I think we went over
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I'm chilling.
everything. Yeah, I think we went over and covered mostly everything.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, you can DM me always with questions and things like that, and let me know how it goes. And
Sweet. Sounds good. Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Sweet. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate the session. I had a good time. Have a good rest of your weekend, and yeah, message me if anything comes up or you're curious or something's not making sense.
Yeah, I'll probably have questions like after this after I think about some time. So I
Yeah.
expect like a couple DMs or so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I try to be as available, especially if you've booked already. So
Sweet. Sounds good.
cool. See you, man.
That's it.